If there's an internal aspect to the idea of feeling recognized, then I would say I'm figuring that out right now. The outside perception was always confusing to me. Like I was their daughter or his girlfriend or, their mom or, like they're all the labels or, a sex siren or the girl next door, the blind girl from the thing or the dinosaur lady or or David Lynch's muse and you just keep allowing labels. Aren't you the lady who put her hand in poop or something? But you have all these labels and you don't feel connection to them, if you're lucky. I am talking about Marriage Story, the Noah Baumbach film. It was an amazing thing that I've rarely gotten to do, to consider fashion as a power move. Noah and I both met several very high-powered LA-based family lawyers, and there was a commonality in how attire was used by women. I think the only thing we knew is that we had to go to Christian Louboutin because she would never not be in his shoes. That's part of the story. The physicality of always showing arm and breasts and I don't know if you noticed, but she is almost all the time touching herself, which is an interesting strategy. I love the idea of how a woman in this position would decide to meet the bully on his level and say, it's time for a street fight. And again, it's the design itself. I wanted to be able to take her jacket off to kind of reveal herself as the way she's going to bully this guy and claim the space and win the case. I did not have to like her. I did not. So the mere nature of a divorce lawyer is a really tricky thing to like. Whether you like a character or not, I always have to find a way in to empathize with how they got there. Well, a beautiful day to get to talk about David Lynch because I'm high from the experience last night of giving David Lynch his Academy Award. It was really emotional and extraordinary to reminisce on being a 17-year-old and starting my journey with him. Of course, gives me the most fun, radical, brilliantly designed look, character, traits, dialogue, just, it's the great experience of my life, getting to work with him, over these years in such radically different characters. My mom's more radical than me, and in my favorite story of David Lynch is he taught my son to make his first cappuccino, and they were making cappuccinos together, and I was sitting at his kitchen table. At the time, he was probably 13, and he said, so David, I haven't gotten to see your movies with my mom. And he was like, oh yeah, does she want you to wait? And he said, yeah, I think she thinks, that I shouldn't see them. I wanted to see Wild at Heart, but is that too, she's like, no, you can't see that. Is that too sassy? And he said, well, it's sassy, but you can't see that till you're 30. Why? Because of my mom? And he goes, it's not seeing your mother I'm worried about. It's you seeing your grandmother that I'm worried about. And it was that moment that I was like, oh, right. That woman who paints her face red with lipstick is somebody's grandma.
What is your karaoke song?
When we were working on Wild at Heart, Nick Cage and I deemed it I Got You, Babe. We found some club in LA and we went and we recorded it. We dressed. We went full on. We went to a thrift shop before and we full on did it. Cherokee people. Oh, for sure, midriff. I found long feather earrings and kind of white lipstick and did the full, very straight, long black wig, and I think for sure found a headband. We have a picture somewhere. we would dress together. Like, we dressed matching for our premiere. We coordinated and dressed in Cannes with a designer kind of matching us. We were taking Sailor and Lula to the full degree. Practical things scare the hell out of me. And I was told at a young age that I was such a sponge and that this might be a really good quality if I was going to go into the arts, but really challenging in relationship. In terms of knowing what is yours and what is someone else's. So all my fears are the people I love. Like, my father is terrified of snakes, my stepmother's terrified of spiders, and my mother's terrified of great white sharks. I got it all. I didn't even know I had it. And then they just gave it to me, and I was like, oh, okay, that's the thing you got to be terrified of. I spend a lot of time in terror, and I blame Steven Spielberg every day for it. Yeah, oh, yeah. Well, and I became a great swimmer because of that terror, so there you go.